So, The Rip is a story set in modern day about a crack team of tactical narcotics officers that work in Miami. All right, they've been in Miami for a while. They're led by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, who recently were vying for a promotion when things went south when their captain was murdered brutally under mysterious circumstances. The feds are investigating the team. They think it could be somebody within. The team thinks it might have been the cartel. Nobody knows what's what. But one night, Matt Damon gets a tip that there is a giant cache of cash sitting in a unassuming house in a neighborhood in just a couple districts over. Him and his team hop in the car and drive over, and that's where they find that this rip, what Miami officers call like a large amount of cash or drugs or something that, you know, the cartel or somebody's sitting on in a house, is way bigger than they thought. Way more cash than they thought it was going to be, which means there's way more heat attached to this. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars just sitting in this house. So that's when some other people approach the house. They get some mixed messages. Somebody calls the phone line with a voice changer and says, you have 30 minutes to get out. And suddenly The Rip is a survive the night feature. It stars Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as two officers. Also stars Stephen Yeun, who's on their team. Teyana Taylor is on their team. And Kyle Chandler plays another officer in the unit, though he's over at SWAT. A complicated sort of feature, one that seems like it'd be really action-packed. Little light on action, but big on drama, big on cast. Let's talk about The Rip. Andy, what did you think of this movie?
So this is really interesting because this is one of these Netflix vehicles, and Matt Damon was on, I think it was Joe Rogan's show, talking about how movie making is different in the Netflix world. For instance, they want to have an action scene in like the first 2 minutes because they're worried you're going to flip the channel. They also write the dialogue like knowing you're on your phone or you're not looking at your screen or something like that. And so there's a lot of very on the nose things like, oh my gosh, is that your brother who happens to be an FBI agent and who you're also estranged from? It's really kind of strange. Like, people don't talk like this, even in the movies, but it's how they make movies for people that are second screening. It's a little bit all over the place. I think there's sequences that work. I think this is a stellar cast that's largely wasted. The first half is a little slow. It's almost like a play. I was like, you could stage this. It could be a stage play. Then you get a lot of action kind of later in the film. There's a whole lot of propaganda, which we'll talk about, which is really funny.
Yeah, man.
All over the place, man. If only we had the funding, you'd stop the bad guys. Whole lot of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mix, but I think our cast is good. I think Damon and Ben Affleck, just like, they know what they're doing on this. They know what kind of movie they're making, and they're great at it.
Yeah, so there's a couple things I didn't know about this movie that I found out later. Number one's based on a true story. Not like as specific as is shown in the film. I think it's just kind of based on like events that transpired over time. Miami Police Department Captain Chris Cassiano is his name. Matt Damon portrays kind of his version of his character in the movie, playing Lieutenant Dan Dumars. That's Matt's character. That's kind of who's leading the TNT, the Tactical Narcotics Team, they call them. And at the beginning of the movie, like you said, we get this kind of like investigation, opens with action, which is perfect for a movie like this. We get a flashback to this Miami captain being brutally murdered out in public, which is a bummer. She like rattles off this text message to a mysterious somebody right before it happens. And then later we've got like investigation, right? And we get all these cutaways, very like Rian Johnson Knives Out, like when Benoit Blanc is like investigating all those people at the beginning of the movie, and it's just bouncing between like different members of the team and kind of what they saw and what they think. Affleck clearly has some history with the captain and also like this Fed who's investigating him. Damon's real standoffish. And then quickly, like, they get this tip and they go hit it. And they kind of get the tip under mysterious circumstances. Damon says it's a Crime Stoppers thing. And we're at the house and you're on your way. And the poster and all the marketing of The Rip makes it look a lot like, oh, it's going to be like hot action. It's not, man. There's not a lot of action in The Rip. It's pretty much a character drama. They're mostly just hanging out, like getting weird messages, and things are getting tense and they hear something outside, but like you don't actually get a lot of like breaking down the door, it's getting nuts kind of action. It's very tactical. It's very slow, very safe. Much like real life, I think, right? Like, I don't think real cops would be, be Arnold Schwarzenegger out there or anything, but like, I do think that kind of hurts it. It ends up being, was it like 2 hours? And it's a bit of a drag in there for sure. I remember checking my watch early in the movie and thinking like, how how long until we get to like a gunfight? Does happen for sure. There's a couple gunfights in there, but you're gonna have to pace yourself at the open for sure.
Yeah, so when we start this thing, again, they get the call, they get the team together. Again, a stellar cast, also including Stephen Yeun, Teyana Taylor, Catalina Sandino Moreno, Sasha Calle, who was a former Supergirl, Kyle Chandler, and company. And it's like, man, in a theatrical movie, this would have been awesome. But a lot of our cast is just kind of wasted. Like Teyana Taylor just literally counts money the whole time. Like they have this huge amount of money. One of the things they have to do is they have to count it on site. They can't take it anywhere. So her and Sandino Moreno are just stuck counting money, and at the end of every turn, they just go into like Matt Damon goes into a room, and they're just counting the money. 10 minutes later, they're still counting the money. Like it's like those characters are wasted so much. She did like Teyana Taylor's up for an Oscar. She's been nominated, and she's got nothing to do in this movie. It's really funny, but that's the first half is the setup, and the movie also tries to wrong foot you. It paints everyone as a suspect. Like you get the feeling that there's a mole in this group of people. Like someone's going to betray, someone's going to try and make a run for this money. You're not real sure who, and the movie kind of makes you think it's everyone at one point. Like Damon's suspicious, Affleck's suspicious. Where'd you go? Who'd you talk to on the phone? I don't think it does a great job of really wrong footing you, but it's kind of what it's trying to do. It's trying to be this pot boiler of, who knows what, when did they know it, who's talking to who on the phone. The first thing Matt Damon makes everyone do, he collects everyone's phone as soon as they find all the money. But people have secret phones and things like this. So it's trying to be this real pot boiler, build a lot of tension. It like kind of sort of works.
Yeah, no, you're right. It focuses really big on this notion of like trust. Right? Who do you trust? Like, and right away, really early, you're right. They find all this money, and it's immediately like, hey, round up the circus. We're not calling this into headquarters. We're going to do this my way. Well, why aren't we following the book? Like all these cops immediately have reasons to question one another, and like I think that's cool, right? Because that starts to skew into the space of like, are all cops good guys or bad guys? Matt Damon has some like really on the nose tattoos that like tie into his backstory, his character's backstory a little bit in there about
Yes.
like, are we the good guys or not? Like, which is, meaningful. There's some conversation at the beginning with that federal investigation. Like, hey, this could have been an inside job. Somebody might've capped our own police captain. You know what I mean? And this is all like real hot button stuff for Netflix, especially like this week, right? Dropping this. There's some news out of Minnesota y'all might've seen. It's a big deal, right? Are cops all good guys or not, right? That's kind of what it's getting at a little bit. The problem is like it's not like Spotlight, you know what I mean? This is not like a sit down drama. We're going to talk about it seriously kind of movie. It's kind of an action movie. So really it's couching that stuff in what's supposed to be, I think, like something more, I don't know, action oriented, more stuff blowing up, and it doesn't quite do either well. But all of that drama and this are we the good guys, are we the bad guys stuff is like so good for the actors who really have a lot to do. Like you said, Teyana Taylor feels like stunt casting coming out of one battle after another. Like they could have got anybody to count money the whole movie. You know what I mean? She gets off a couple of good lines, but it's fine. Meanwhile, like Stephen Yeun is firing on all cylinders. Kyle Chandler is firing on all cylinders. Matt Damon and Affleck both rock. Like Sasha Calle is really fun. Like I do think it's fertile ground for like a good script, which is fun for these guys, but like it's just a little boring to watch. Like it ends up being like it's better than Netflix slop that I would expect, but like only a bit better. Not quite like theatrical in a way either. Like it doesn't really clear the bar.
Like I said, it felt like a play. The first hour of it before then they put the obligatory action scenes in, because they're just in this house the entire time counting money the whole time. There's secret phone calls made. Some other police show up. They're worried about the neighborhood they're in. The power goes out, and again, it's just building tension, but it's not really tense enough. Matt, I was going to say Damon and Affleck play so great about it against each other, and they have been for 30 years now since Good Will Hunting. And Matt Damon he's the lead guy in this, and Ben Affleck is playing, second fiddle to him, and they just embody those roles really good. Matt Damon is, the bigger star, I think, and they know what kind of movie they're in, and they're selling it as good as they can. But yeah, it's a little bit slow. It does pick up in the second half. Zach, tell us about the action.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, you get a couple of good gunfights in there for sure. Like there's some fun stuff. Teyana Taylor actually gets a couple scenes where she has some stuff to do. But like I really thought, based on kind of what I had seen in like the poster, man, and like the description, the way Netflix kind of stages this stuff, like I really thought it was going to be like blowing out walls. There's somebody's going to park a tank next to this house. The whole thing's going to be burnt down by the end of the movie. And it's a bit slower than that for sure. Like you really get to some action about an hour into it, which I think it's a little under 2 hours. So a little over half the runtime. Like takes a minute, but I do want to mention before we start to wrap it up here, some of the details around the production, because I saw some stories about that, just to clear that up in case you're curious. I looked into it. Like you said, Damon and Affleck like have real on-screen chemistry. They've been working alongside each other for like 30 years, and they haven't done a project together in a bit. And I think Damon had seen something about Affleck doing something that he wanted to get into, and somehow they ended up kind of recommitting and saying, hey, we should go in and work together on a project again. And that chemistry is really on screen. But with their pasts in production, such as like Project Greenlight on HBO, like these two are obviously very familiar with how a film is made behind the camera as well. So they had this new creator forward deal penned with Netflix. Here's how that works. Their deal with Artist Equity, which is the production company, includes a performance-based bonus structure that pays a one-time bonus to every one of their 1,200 crew members if the film meets certain specific viewership benchmarks in its first 90 days on Netflix. So basically, hit enough views, every single person that worked on this gets paid a portion of that like revenue back, which is different. And productions don't normally go that way. So for what it's worth, I don't think it's quite like a union, but it sounds like a bit closer than the way things normally work. Meaningful work, guys. I hope it hits the views it gets. I hope people get paid like they're supposed to. Maybe that could change the way things go going forward. Like obviously these two are very dedicated to the craft of filmmaking. So, good for them, like bringing it to a film they're working on.
I wanted to mention about the action. It's a little bit over the top, and it reminds me of the Tom Hardy movie. I think it's Havoc from last year that we watched that also has a huge over-the-top scene where it's just like, how is anyone surviving? There's a big shootout in the middle, and what's funny to me is that there's just a lot of flashing lights. I'm like, there aren't that many people shooting, but it's like someone's flicking the switch on and off to make it up. Like the action's a little bit like everyone's firing automatic weapons, and it's just a little... It's too much the other way where it's a little unbelievable, but it's fine. There's a decent car chase. I did want to talk about the propaganda that this movie is. So there's a ton of references to not having overtime. They're like, sorry, we can't have extra cops because we can't afford it. Don't have the overtime. We don't have the funding. They must say we don't have the funding like 10 times. Like, sorry, we can't pay the overtime. Don't have the funding. Don't have the funding. And the way if you want to work with a police entity or the military, you generally have to portray them in a positive light. Otherwise, they won't let you borrow like military vehicles or police vehicles and things like that. So there's a whole lot of that. And just the fact that our crew are like $20 million. No, we're the good guys. We're not going to be tempted by this. Like and it would be better if everyone was tempted a little bit more, but they're not. Everyone's like, oh no, I would never touch this dirty, filthy money. And there's also a part where we run into, there's federal agents. They're like, oh my gosh, it's the feds. They're the best. We can't defeat them. And I was like, it's like they're superheroes or something. I'm like, come on, guys. Yeah. So there's a lot of that in this movie too.
Yeah. Overall, I think, I don't know. I think The Rip is light on action in a way that doesn't need to be. It's not quite big enough to be theatrical. I'm not sure who this movie satisfies, but it's definitely an action flick to watch on Netflix. You ready for recommendations, Andy?
I am indeed.
Would you recommend Netflix's The Rip?
It's perfect for streaming. Kind of put it on in the background. It's attempting to be a tense pot boiler cop procedural. It hits some of those marks. It misses a lot. It's too long at almost 2 hours. It's really slow pace in the first almost hour, and then it kind of has a lot of action on the second part. It goes on a little bit too long. We have an amazing cast, most of which is wasted, but we do have good chemistry between everyone. I would have liked to see more out of Steven Yeun and Sasha Kaye and some of our other players, Teyana Taylor. But like I said, perfect for streaming. Put it on the background.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, fine at-home movie. The Rip is fine. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are fun in it. If you like them, go give it a go. Otherwise, throw it on the watch list. Maybe you'll get around to it later. And that's the rip. We have got to talk about Oscar nominations 2025, 2026. I don't know. How do they title these things again? Yeah, I should just learn now. Now's a fine time to learn. It's fine. Yeah. How does this work?
So I looked it up, and the problem is they do both. They'll say, oh, the 86th and 87th, because it depends on where you count. So I always say the year that we're in. So they're the 2026 Oscars.
Great. I should retitle the video on YouTube then. Yeah, we actually recorded these early on Friday and uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you want to keep up with what we got going on, maybe even before actual episodes come out, throw us a subscribe over there. Hit a rating and review or like and comment or whatever while you're at it. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Helps the algo. And yeah, in the meantime, we should get into it. Here is our segment. We're covering all the Oscar noms. We got Best Picture. We got snubs. Dude, big snubs this year. Big snubs. And we'll talk about it. So we will be back with you after that in a minute. Stick around. Here it is.